There's a specific kind of friendship that looks completely normal from the outside. You laugh together, you check in on each other, you'd probably call them one of your closest friends, but every so often, something feels off. You share exciting news, and their congratulations arrive just a little too flat. You ask for help, and suddenly they're too busy. You leave conversations feeling strangely drained instead of supported. Nothing is obvious enough to confront, yet something inside you keeps noticing. Most people dismiss these moments as overthinking. Psychology suggests they shouldn't. Researchers have found that resentment rarely begins with arguments or open hostility. It usually grows quietly, hidden beneath everyday interactions, making it incredibly difficult to recognize until the relationship has already changed. Today, we'll look at 10 scientifically studied signs that a friend may secretly resent you. None of them prove anything on their own, but when several begin appearing together, they reveal a pattern psychologists have been documenting for decades. And the final sign is the one almost everyone misses, even though your brain often notices it before you consciously do. Before we get into the signs, it helps to understand why this happens in the first place. Psychologists studying self evaluation discovered something uncomfortable about human nature. The people closest to us are also the people we compare ourselves to the most. Not because we want to compete with them, but because their lives constantly give us a measuring stick for our own. A stranger getting promoted barely affects you. But when your closest friend succeeds, your brain instinctively asks a painful question. What does that say about me? That quiet comparison becomes the hidden engine behind many of the behaviors you're about to see. Sign 1. They leave you feeling more stressed than people who openly dislike you. It sounds backwards, but it's one of the most replicated findings in relationship science. Psychologists Julianne Holt Lundstad and Bert Uchino study what they call ambivalent relationships, relationships containing both genuine warmth and genuine tension. In one study, participants wore blood pressure monitors while recording their daily social interactions. The surprising result? People's blood pressure rose more around ambivalent friends than around people they openly disliked. Why? Because certainty is surprisingly calming. When someone openly dislikes you, you know where you stand. Your brain doesn't waste energy predicting their next move. But when someone's warmth keeps changing, your nervous system never fully relaxes. Every interaction becomes a quiet prediction exercise. Will they be supportive today or distant? That constant uncertainty keeps your stress response switched on long before your conscious mind understands why. If you've ever left a conversation with a friend feeling emotionally exhausted without knowing exactly what happened, your nervous system may have noticed the inconsistency before your thoughts ever did. That constant vigilance often leads to sign 2. They go strangely quiet when good things happen to you. Psychologist Shelley Gable at UCLA has spent years studying something called capitalization, the act of sharing positive news with someone close. Her research found something unexpected. The way someone responds to your success predicts the health of a relationship even more accurately than how they respond when you're struggling. Support during hard times is important, but genuine happiness for someone else's success is much harder to fake. A healthy friend becomes curious. They ask questions. They celebrate with you. They match your excitement. Someone carrying hidden resentment often does something much subtler. They smile. They say, "That's great." And somehow, the energy disappears. Sometimes they quickly change the subject. Sometimes they immediately talk about themselves. Sometimes they respond with enthusiasm that somehow feels rehearsed instead of shared. Nothing sounds openly negative, but somehow your achievement feels smaller by the end of the conversation than it did at the beginning. Gable's research found these passive responses quietly predict declining closeness over time, not because of what was said, but because of what wasn't. When missing enthusiasm eventually turns into words, it often appears as sign 3, compliments that somehow leave you feeling worse. Researchers at Harvard Business School, led by Oval Caesar, studied what they called backhanded compliments, praise wrapped around an invisible comparison. "You look amazing for someone who never works out. I wish I could be that confident. You're actually smarter than I expected." On the surface, they're compliments. But your brain doesn't process only the praise. It also processes the comparison hidden inside it. Recipients consistently reported feeling uncomfortable even when they couldn't explain why. That's because the emotional impact happens before conscious analysis catches up. If you've ever replayed a compliment hours later, wondering why it bothered you so much, you probably weren't imagining it. Your brain simply detected the message underneath the words. Sometimes those comparisons become even more revealing because instead of hiding disappointment, they briefly reveal relief. That's sign 4, a flicker of pleasure when you stumble. Psychologists Mina Chikara and Susan Fiske study Schadenfreude, the strange satisfaction people sometimes experience when someone else fails. Their research consistently found that envy is one of its strongest predictors. Even more fascinating, participants' facial muscles often revealed tiny smiles before they consciously realized how they felt. The closer and more comparable another person is, the stronger this effect becomes, which explains why it often appears between close friends rather than strangers. Rarely does it look like celebration. Instead, it sounds like sympathy that somehow makes you feel smaller, a conversation about your setback that lasts just a little too long, a strangely relieved tone they probably don't even realize they're using. The emotion flashes only for a second, but once you've seen it, it's difficult to unsee. That same hidden comparison often changes something else: how much they're willing to help you. Which brings us to sign 5. They become surprisingly unhelpful in the area that matters most to them. Psychologist Abraham Tesser's self-evaluation maintenance theory explains why. When success isn't personally important, helping a close friend actually feels rewarding. Their success reflects positively on you. But when the achievement touches something central to your own identity, everything changes. Helping your friend suddenly increases the chance they'll outperform you, and your brain quietly experiences that possibility as a threat. In several studies, participants became more willing to help complete strangers than close friends when the task involves something personally meaningful. If someone always supports you, except in the one area where you're both trying to succeed, that pattern isn't random. It's exactly what the theory predicts. Over time, quiet competition often transforms the entire relationship, which leads to sign 6. The friendship slowly starts feeling like an accounting spreadsheet. Psychologists Margaret Clark and Judson Mills identified two very different relationship styles. Communal relationships operate through care. People help because someone needs help, no scorekeeping. Exchange relationships operate through balance. Every favor becomes a transaction waiting to be repaid. Real friendships naturally lean toward the communal side. But when resentment quietly grows, relationships often shift toward exchange thinking. Suddenly, every favor has a receipt. Every invitation has a debt attached. Every act of kindness comes with invisible bookkeeping. The conversation may never mention fairness directly, but somehow it always seems to be keeping score. Eventually, that imbalance becomes visible in another way. Sign 7, you're the one keeping the friendship alive. Researchers studying equity theory found that relationships become psychologically distressing when one person consistently invests more than the other. Interestingly, people rarely announce they're withdrawing. They simply stop reaching out. You become the one sending every first message, planning every meetup, checking in after weeks of silence, remembering birthdays, maintaining momentum. At first, it feels temporary. Then one day, you realize something unsettling. If you stop trying, would the friendship continue at all? Sometimes withdrawal stays private. Other times, it quietly spreads into your social circle. That's sign 8. Conversations seem to reach people before you do. Researchers Nikki Crick and Jennifer Grotpeter introduced the concept of relational aggression. Instead of attacking someone directly, people damage relationships indirectly. Small rumors, subtle exclusions, tiny comments that sound harmless on their own. The reason this strategy is so effective is simple. Every individual incident seems too insignificant to confront, but together, they slowly reshape how others see you. It's not one dramatic betrayal, it's hundreds of tiny cuts that no one else notices. Sometimes resentment doesn't use words at all. It simply disappears. That's sign 9, the silent treatment. Psychologist Kipling Williams spent decades studying ostracism. His findings were remarkably consistent. Being ignored activates many of the same brain regions involved in physical pain. Even brief exclusion creates measurable psychological distress. That's why delayed replies after disagreements, unexpected emotional distance, or someone suddenly becoming consistently unavailable can feel far more painful than they appear from the outside. Silence isn't always neutral. Sometimes it's punishment without confrontation. And finally, the 10th sign, the one hiding in plain sight, a smile that never reaches the eyes. Psychologist Paul Ekman and his colleagues identified what's known as the Duchenne smile. A genuine smile activates not only the mouth but also tiny muscles around the eyes that are difficult to fake voluntarily. A single forced smile means almost nothing. Everyone does it occasionally. But when emotional warmth repeatedly disappears during the moments that should naturally produce it, your brain notices, even if you can't explain why. That's because humans evolved to detect authenticity long before we learned to explain it. Here's the most important part. None of these signs prove someone secretly resents you. People get tired. They become distracted. They have difficult weeks. Psychology doesn't judge isolated moments. It studies patterns. One flat response means nothing. But if enthusiasm repeatedly disappears, support consistently fades when it matters most, conversations leave you emotionally depleted, and effort only flows in one direction, the pattern becomes much harder to ignore. So, what should you actually do? First, stop analyzing individual incidents. Look for consistency across time. Patterns reveal far more than isolated moments ever can. Second, remember what Uchino's research suggests. Much of the stress in ambivalent relationships comes from uncertainty itself. Simply naming what you're experiencing or calmly discussing it often reduces more anxiety than silently guessing ever will. And finally, remember this. Equity theory doesn't just explain why imbalance hurts. It reminds you that relationships are allowed to change. You don't have to keep investing at the same level in a friendship that repeatedly leaves you feeling smaller, more anxious, or emotionally alone. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. Sometimes it's simply responding to the evidence your own experience has been quietly collecting for years. Now I'm curious. Which of these 10 signs surprised you the most? Leave the number in the comments. And if you have a friend who is struggling with their own relationships right now, send this to them. You never know which conversation might finally put words to something they've been feeling for a very long time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.